Hi guys, Miss Beth here with some YA fiction book talks for you. These books are all intended for grades 6 and up. You do not have to be in that age range to enjoy these books, but that is the group they are intended for. So let's get started on some book talks. So the first book I'm going to tell you about today is Airborne by Kenneth Oppel. This is the first book in a series called the Matt Kruse series. It is very adequately named that because it's named after the main character, Matt Kruse. Matt Kruse is the cabin boy on an airship called the Aurora. Now, in this world, airships are the way to travel. There is a very steampunk-esque vibe about this world. It's also, this book is categorized kind of as like alternate history. So it's got that vintage, steampunky vibe. So if you like steampunk, this is a book I think you'll enjoy. So airships are the way to travel in this world. And Matt works on this glorious cruise liner-esque airship, the Aurora. And it shuttles rich and wealthy, powerful passengers from city to city, country to country, across great oceans. Now, Matt loves working on the Aurora and dreams of one day owning a ship just like it and being a captain of his own airship. Matt was born on an airship, so he's kind of always imagined himself as lighter than air and buoyant and just meant to fly. He actually gets land sick, like seasick or air sick, but he gets land sick when he's on solid ground. So he dreams of never having to touch the ground ever again, which I find fantastic and funny. Now, one night when Matt is up in the crow's nest, keeping an eye out for pirates or rogue weather, he sees a hot air balloon. And hot air balloons are like travels of the past. It's a vintage way of traveling in this world. And he also spots someone inside the basket of the hot air balloon. So the Aurora pulls a daring rescue of the man in the balloon basket. Sadly, it is too late. This man the dying balloonist is raving about these magical sky creatures he came across in his travels. And Matt and the crew kind of dismissed this as ravings of a man who was alone and exposed to the elements for far too long. So they think nothing of it. And then Matt comes in contact with the balloonist's granddaughter, and she has the balloonist's journal. And in it are sketches and observations that he made of these sky creatures. So what this madman's ravings may be fact, and it could be true, that these creatures are completely real and utterly mysterious. So Matt and this balloonist's granddaughter have this mystery of these sky creatures. Throw in sky pirates and transcontinental adventure, and you have Airborne. This is a series. I believe there are 3 books in this series. So if you enjoy Airborne, you can stay in this world a little longer and enjoy the adventures of Matt Kruse. Let's move on to the next one. The next book I'm going to talk to you about is Howl's Moving Castle by Diana Wynne Jones. It might be Wayne. Might be Wynne Jones. Don't come after me if I'm wrong. I apologize. Now, if you have seen the movie of the same title, Howl's Moving Castle, I will say, read this book. I'm not going to tell you the book is better than the movie because I think the two of them separate are fabulous on their own. I did thoroughly enjoy both of them. Did the movie do a good job of following the book? Kinda. I would go as far as to say yes. But you know what they say, the movie is never better than the book, but they are both fabulous, and I highly recommend both the movie and the book on their own. So if you've read them, or if you've seen the movie, you know what this book is about. That part is all the same. If you haven't, Howl's Moving Castle follows our main character, Sophie, who has the great misfortune of being the eldest of 3 daughters, which, according to legend or fable or famous saying in this world, the eldest of 3 daughters is destined to fail miserably should she ever leave home to seek her fate, which Sophie claims she's okay with, but, you know, I don't think she is. So Sophie unwittingly attracts the ire and eye of the Witch of the Waste, who is a horrible, horrible old woman. And Sophie finds herself under a horrid spell that transforms her into an old woman. Sophie looks and feels like she's 80 years old. And so her only chance to break this curse is in the ever-moving castle in the hills that belongs to the wizard Howl, who is known to eat the hearts of young women. But Sophie's an old lady, so she's got nothing to fear, right? To untangle this enchantment, Sophie must handle the heartless wizard Howl, strike a bargain with a fire demon named Calcifer, and meet the Witch of the Waste head-on. Along the way, she's going to discover that there is far more to the castle, to Calcifer, to Howl, and even herself that first meets the eye. This is a fairy tale turned on its head kind of book, and I think anybody who reads it will thoroughly, thoroughly enjoy it. So, that is the end of our book talk for Howl's Moving Castle. Let's move on to the next one. Sky Hunter by Marie Lu. This is the newest book in my collection of book talks. Came out towards the middle of last year, 2020, or towards the end of last year. Very recently. This book takes place in one of the last free countries in this world called Marr. The Krenza Federation is our main bad guy in this story. And they have conquered dozens of countries, including our lead character, Talon's home country. So Talon, like many others, are fleeing their homes for Marr to escape a fate worse than death. And that is being transformed into these mutant war beasts called ghosts. They kind of look like humans. They have a semblance of human, look to them, but they're described as like if you took a human and like stretched out their limbs, and the older a ghost gets, the taller they get. They kind of just get longer and more gangly, and they develop claws and the teeth, and they want to eat people. They thirst for human blood and flesh. And the Federation is sending these ghosts to attack Marr. Now, Marr has these teams called Strikers. They are legendary for their strength and talent and ability to kill ghosts. And they are trained to be completely silent, and they speak in sign language because ghosts have exceptional hearing but not great eyesight. Now, this works in our main character Talon's favor because while Talon and her mother were running away from the Federation, due to some chemical warfare, Talon lost her ability to speak. So she has been speaking in sign language since she was very young. So Talon knows firsthand the brutality of the Federation. And because Marr took her and her mother in their time of need, she is willing to put her life on the line for this country, for her new home. And she and her fellow strikers have pledged their life to protect Marr and push back the Federation at all costs. Then one day, a mysterious prisoner is brought to the front, and Talon, she doesn't know what it is, but she senses something about this prisoner, that he is far more than what he seems. Many of her fellow strikers think he's a spy, but she thinks he's much more, and she's right. You can read Sky Hunter. It is the first book, and I believe a duology. Because this book is so new, the second book is not out yet. I am chomping at the bits for the second book. Let's just say that. But it's going to be a while. Sadly, it's going to be a while till the second book comes out. So you will have to wait, but another book is coming. Just remember that. It will be coming when you finish this one. Know and feel at peace that another one will be coming. All right, let's jump on to the next one. All right, this is our last book talk for today. It is called Wicked Lovely by Melissa Marr. This is, again, the first book in a series. I believe you don't have to read the other ones in order to get the story, but I highly recommend that you read this one first because it kind of sets the world, and you kind of get a feel for where the new characters come in, and this is a good starting point. But you don't have to read the other ones in order to get it. I hope that makes sense. So what is Wicked Lovely about? Well, this is a book about fairies. Ashlyn has always been able to see fairies. Her mother could see fairies. Her grandmother can see fairies. And she has been raised by 3 rules. She's obeyed these 3 rules since she could talk, since she could walk, since she could understand them. Number 1, don't stare at invisible fairies. If she were to stare at these invisible fairies, they would possibly tear her eyes out. And that's best case scenario. Number 2 is don't speak to invisible fairies. Same reason for number 1. And number 3 is the most important. It's don't ever attract their attention. Now, Ashlyn wishes she was blind to the fairies. She has seen their cruelty firsthand. So she knows all of the mean and horrible things fairies do when people can't see them. But she wishes she was one of those people. So if someone were to trip, she what they think is just themselves being clumsy. Oh, I must have not seen something or tripped over my own feet. what Ashlyn saw was fairy pushing them. Or someone realizing that they lost their wallet, Ashlyn is the one saw the fairy who stole it from them. You know, they're just mean little things. Or at least that's what she sees. But one day, fairies start noticing her. They start stalking her. One of them is Keenan, who is equal parts terrifying and alluring. He kind of looks like if you were to touch him, it would burn. That's the vibe he gives off. And he puts on a glamour to make himself look human, so normal humans can see him. And he starts following Ashlyn and asking her questions and trying to get to know her. He kind of gives off an air of, I know I'm attractive, so you're going to talk to me. And she's pushing him away because she knows what he is. But he doesn't know that she knows that. It's all fun. Now, because of this, Ashlyn is breaking rule number 3, the most important rule of all. Don't ever attract fairies' attention. But it's too late. Keenan turns out to be the Summer King. He is a high-level fae. And Keenan has been searching for a queen of his court for 9 centuries. And without a summer queen, summer itself will perish. So he is determined that Ashlyn will be his summer queen at any costs. Even regardless of her plans or desires, he has chosen her as his summer queen. So not only has she attracted the attention of a high-level court fae, she's also attracted the attention of this winter girl who looks to be the exact opposite of Keenan. She looks like if you were to touch her, it would burn, but instead of it being like fire, this girl gives off the feeling of dry ice. And she is riding this giant fae wolf, and when she puts on her human glamour, all she can do is tell Ashlyn how much of a danger Keenan is, which Ashlyn already knows, but she doesn't know who to trust because Keenan is they're both fairies, one, so she doesn't trust either of them. But Keenan is trying to convince her that he's, great, and this winter girl is trying to convince Ashlyn that Keenan is not what he seems. So suddenly, none of the rules that have kept Ashlyn safe forever are working anymore. And everything is on the line. Her freedom, her best friend, Seth, her life, everything. This book is a mix of fairy intrigue, mortal love, clashes of ancient rules and modern expectations swirled together. It is quite a whirlwind of magic, is the best way I can describe it. If you enjoy this book, you can stay in the wicked, lovely world. There are plenty of books. I have no idea how many, but there are a lot. So I hope you guys read it. And if you continue to read this series, you can come in and talk to me. Let me know whether I should continue with it. And that is it for today. I hope you guys heard about a book that interests you, and that I hope you will pick one up, come here to the library. I don't know if I said this in the beginning, but all of these are available as e-audiobooks and ebooks in our Overdrive/Libby app. So if you want to check them out right now on your device of your choosing, you can do that. And I hope you guys enjoy. Bye.